DC Center folks for a great meal and for helping us out. Sister Suzanne, Sister Jeannie, Sister Suzanne, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? I'm calling you out.
Could be a little louder.
Could be a little louder. How's this? If I get any closer, it's going to be in my mouth. And I don't want to yell at it. But is this better? Okay. Okay. All right, so as we begin the award portion of the evening, the first thing I would like to do is for all of the servants of Mary that are here to either stand or raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. So as you know, these women are responsible for many, many years of service in education, administration, just all sorts of different things around town, around the country. So it's my pleasure, my honor to work with them on a daily basis, and I hope that they feel the same way, that they enjoy having me around. Sister Angie does. I see her clapping. I can always count on Sister Angie. So tonight also offers the opportunity not only for the lay people in the room to appreciate the sisters, but it's an opportunity for the sisters to reach out and say thank you to everybody here for supporting what we do. The support of all of you, it goes just a long way to help make sure we are doing the things that we need to do, to keep focusing on our outreach, to keep helping those that need the help that we provide. So it's very important, and we are very, very grateful for everything that everybody here does for us. Speaking of outreach, the last couple of years, if you were here, over here to what would be my right, I was able to talk about our cemetery renovation project. And you'll notice that there's no pictures over there because I'm happy to say that all the physical work is done and complete on the actual walls and sidewalks and all of that stuff. So it came out quite beautifully. I think all the sisters are very happy with how it looks. I invite you to stop by. If you've never been out there, it's a lot more welcoming. If you had ever driven through the campus before and drove by that hill, you may not even know that was a cemetery out there. Now you do. So we've moved on to the next phase of that, and we're having all of the actual plots fixed up. The headstones will be raised up a little bit, and there will be a cross attached to every headstone. So now as you drive through, you'll know that it's a cemetery and that it's a reverent place, and that's where all your favorite teachers or whoever, whatever they did for you, whether it was teaching or, whatever they did for you. I know they help in a lot of different ways besides teaching, but it'll be awesome once that work is completed, and that is scheduled to be done by the end of October. So we're very excited about that. I do have two displays over here. One is a carpet square and some laminate flooring. That is the next project that's coming up at the Mother House. We are starting that very soon. So we're replacing the carpet, or most of the carpet on the first floor in the lunchroom, and in the lunchroom we'll also be putting some of that non-slip laminate around some of the food areas and all that. So that's an upcoming project that should be starting, Sister Mary, very soon. That's the official date, very soon. Any day now. The banner that's hanging there is a picture of the Congolese sisters. And that is something that the congregation is very excited about. They're getting into the healthcare field. The Congolese sisters are starting up a clinic down there, and they're building it quite literally, brick by brick. The bricks are handmade, 2 at a time. So that is going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of money to get that done, but they are really focused on doing that. There are some more current pictures that show a little bit more where they're at with the project and all that, but that gives you a good idea of what's going on with that. They have, all the sisters from the congregation have pledged financially, and the sisters in Jolimont, Belgium have also pledged to give medical equipment from one of their hospitals. So they'll be sending it down there to the Congo. So things are moving forward. It's just the physical part of it. Building that is a slow process when you're making 2 bricks at a time. But they're very excited about it. It's a great way that the sisters are doing their outreach, living their compassionate presence. It's very important to them, and so it's very important to me, and I hope very important to all of you as well. With that being said, here's my little plug. There are envelopes over there. If you would like to make a small donation to any of those 3 items, the cemetery, the Congo, or the flooring. I think that might be the end of my book. Yes, it is. So at this time, Sister Mary is going to come up, and I don't think she has 45 minutes. I mean, she has 45 if she wanted it. I don't think she has that much to say, but it might be close. But she's going to say a few kind words about our recipient, and then our recipient did say that she had 2 hours planned. So we were fine with that. So, Sister Mary?
Our sisters in Butembo, in the Congo, are a young community. Their median age is 35. So they're doing many of the things that we used to do. They have schools over there, 2 schools, but they work with the poorest of the poor. Their schools consist of a bench in a room with a small table and a blackboard. No books, and obviously no technology. But the sisters do an excellent job working with them. I remember when first I should say, this banner that they gave us came this summer. We didn't have any representatives joining us this summer because they couldn't get the visas to leave Congo to come and join us. But I remember when their congregation when their community first started 25 years ago, and one of the sisters from France who helped start the community was telling us a story, and they began by helping particularly mothers and children with health care needs. And one family had a child die. And so all the families were in mourning, so the sisters gathered them together and said, we'll come and pray together. And the family started bringing things to the family that died. Now we think casseroles, things like that. One family came with 2 sticks. And we said, what are the 2 sticks for? Why would they bring that? For the fire. Or 2 pieces of coal. But that's all they had. So we are very, very much supportive of and proud of the work that we as servants of Mary in our congregation can do through these sisters in Congo. So it's the healthcare center that they want to build is really an outpost. I guess we might call it an urgent care center. But not only are they doing 2 bricks at a time, before they started to build the center, they had to build a 10-foot wall around the couple acres of land that they had. And a 10-foot wall, 2 bricks at a time, takes a long time. And we showed the Marian girls the other day videos of some of the work that was being done with all of the modern equipment that they had. They had some sticks in the ground and string, and they pulled out their famous level. That was probably the most modern piece of equipment that they had, was the level. They had a couple of shovels, and they had no cement to dig a foundation. So they dug a trench. They measured it out to make sure it was all even, and the trench was for the foundation. And then they took rocks from all over the area, and they piled them in the foundation. And piled them up about this high, and then started the brick for the building on top of that. So all the things we just take for granted, you know. We can work with the poor here, but we don't work with the poorest of the poor as they do. So we are so very supportive of them. And I ask for your prayers for the work that they do. They're in a position in their community, as we were back in the 60s, with many people coming to join them, as it happens in many of the third world countries. So we're just very, very proud of them. And we, as Servite Sisters, are learning ourselves to be more aware of the fact that as a congregation we are one. We're not just the U.S. and over there's somebody else. We're one, and they're all part of us. So thank you for your prayers, and if you can support them, that would be wonderful too. One of my favorite cartoons is that of Moses. And Moses is walking down the mountainside, carrying the tablets with the 10 Commandments over his head. And he's very proud, and he's walking down, and here's the crowd out in front of him. And two guys in the back are looking at each other, and one goes, "Oh no, another mission statement?" Many schools, businesses, and corporations have mission statements that hang on their walls, that are printed in their employee handbooks. The most successful of these organizations, however, are the ones in which a mission statement is written on the hearts of the executives, the administrators, and the employees alike. When a mission statement is modeled and lived, the organization thrives. CHI Health Emmanuel is a mission-driven, mission-lived hospital system. Tonight's award recipient, Ann Schumacher, as president of this organization, exemplifies the living of this mission and models it to her employees and patients alike. She is a woman of service who, in the words of one of her co-workers, who shall remain nameless, has, I quote, "the ability to draw out the very best in people. She has so many special talents, but chief among them is her ability to truly listen. Secondly, she can ask just the right questions to dig deeper into an issue. And finally, she is kind and respectful, non-judgmental." Another co-worker states, "Ann is a faith-filled leader whose compassion and integrity shine through her every interaction. She has had many leadership roles at CHI Health, and now as president of Emmanuel Medical Center and senior executive overseeing some of our most essential services, including behavioral health, neurosciences, and orthopedics. In every role, Ann brings a genuine interest and love for what she is doing. She is open and inquisitive and seeks to understand. She is honest and straightforward and is trusted by the employees with whom she works. She has a woman's heart with room for everybody. She inspires her team with her clear vision for the future, her energy, determination, and optimism to reach it. Servant leadership is not top-down. It emphasizes collaboration, trust, empathy, and the ethical use of power. The objective of servant leadership is to enhance the growth of the individuals in the organization and to increase teamwork and personal involvement. I witnessed this firsthand when working with Ann as she served as the chairperson of the Berrien High School Board of Directors. She listened, responded to, and supported the employees and the board members. She has had an excellent way of providing opportunities for personal and professional growth for both. She did all of this with much prayer and discernment. Ann and her husband, Mark, are parents of 4 lovely daughters. They're all Marian graduates, too, which adds to the loveliness. I have often heard Ann speak of her family and their times together, And it's not at all unusual for you, Anne, to speak of your deep faith for God and how God is manifested in your family life and your work life. Anne was born into a large family from Adrian, Minnesota. I knew there was an Adrian, Michigan. I didn't know there was an Adrian, Minnesota. And was raised on a farm. You've told us that your parents were wonderful, faith-filled people and were such wonderful role models for you and the rest of your family. Now, rumor has it, from someone, I don't know who, that Anne did not want to continue her life by picking vegetables in the garden, so she decided to become a nurse instead. One of the qualities that Anne has as an executive in a healthcare system is that she did work as a nurse and worked her way up and knows the ins and outs of a hospital. Two of our sisters served as pastoral care ministers in the pastoral care department at Emmanuel. And they speak very highly of you too, Anne. One remarked how every meeting started with prayer, and it was often followed by Anne reading a letter or telling verbally what she heard from patients and families of patients about how well they were treated when they were at Emmanuel. She always gave the credit to the staff and thanked them and encouraged them to be better. And I know for myself, when we've had sisters at Emmanuel or family members, you can even talk to the man that's cleaning the floor. He'll stop what he's doing, he talks to you and says, let me help you find somebody to get what you need. That's mission driven, that's mission from the employees up, and it takes a phenomenal leader to have that happen. You have been described as prayerful and a compassionate person who is a good communicator. You have a deep love of your family, a deep love of your profession, and you look at your profession as a ministry and a calling. It is not work. That is very, very obvious. So it's my pleasure now, Anne, to ask you to come forward and receive this year's Servant of Mary Partnership Award. And it's only fitting that it is a servant leadership award with Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. Please join me in congratulating you.
I will find out who gave all those comments. Thank you, Sister Mary. And thank you to the servants of Mary and this entire community. To receive this award is very humbling, and I am very, very honored. As I have been reflecting on receiving this partnership award, I've been thinking about being a partner to the servants of Mary. For nearly 2 decades, my family has in some way been in relationship with the servants of Mary. My family of 4 daughters spent 12 years at Marian High School. And as we were thinking about tonight, I reached out to them and said, how would you say the servants of Mary have impacted you? And if they were standing up here, what they would say about what the Servites have done for them, they would share that they've learned how to be joyful, how to be enthusiastic, to be confident as women of God, to be women who pursue excellence, to grow in their Catholic faith, and to make it their own, and that they learned most by the Servites' example of living humble and holy lives. And as a mom and parents, Mark and I couldn't ask for more. The charism and values of the servants of Mary pervades Marian, and it's had a powerful and positive impact on our daughters and our entire family. The servants of Mary, as we've been talking about tonight, are educators. From their very founding, they've been teachers, educating poor women, young women in France, beginning in 1842, and then coming here, as we've talked about tonight, in 1893, into Omaha in 1918. Their ministry is alive and well. In Omaha, as they still sponsor Marian High School, and the Servite Center of Compassion, and many, many other ministries. And I was thinking, as a ministry largely focused on educating, one can only imagine the many lesson plans that some of these women have prepared and taught over the years. And it got me thinking about what would I say the lessons have been in my time with the Servants of Mary. I can't say, and for some of my BFFs, I've never been able to say I'm a Marian grad, but I say I'm a Marian grad at heart. So if I graduated from Marian, here would be the lessons I would say from my time with the Servants of Mary. And I think these lessons can be summed up in one word, and that would be servant. And I was saying to Mary, I had talked to Tom that the ward was changing, but I didn't know we were going to talk about servant tonight, so it's by chance that we're talking about the servant attitude and leadership that you've taught me. So when I think about being a servant, the word servant, I start with S and I say, S means say yes. I've learned from the Servants of Mary to say yes. To say yes to a larger purpose than yourself. To say yes to the will of God. To say yes to the bold, adventurous life God has in store for you. The Servites live their purpose, to be compassionate presence in the spirit of Mary each and every day. When we think of Mary, we think of her saying yes to God, but we might think that this was an easy decision for her. Yet we know from Scripture that she was deeply troubled and wondered what the angel's greeting meant for her. Mary didn't say yes because she fully understood or had all the answers to her questions. She said yes to a bold adventure. She said yes in faith and trust. I've witnessed this say yes attitude in the Servites, and especially Sister Mary, as she leads her community. She says yes to a larger purpose than herself and serves others. She says yes to the bold adventure that God has in store for her and her entire community. Not having all the answers, but saying yes in faith and trust. E stands for embrace the moment, be present. The Servites have taught me over the years, and I've experienced this when I'm in their presence. They embrace the moment and they're fully present to me. It's as if I'm their only concern. In our crazy, busy world, where multitasking has become a way of life, for most of us, we're overloaded, we're preoccupied, we're often thinking of the next item on our to-do list, or thinking of our reply in a conversation before the question's even been asked. The sisters have taught me to embrace the moment, to be present, to give the gift of my full attention and energy to the person I'm with. R stands for real. Be real. What you see is what you get with our Servite sisters. In our world of keeping up images, especially for women, it's refreshing to be with Servites who are comfortable in their own skin, who don't take themselves too seriously, who know how to laugh. So I have to tell a story. I have a group of friends, my BFF group, and it includes some of the sisters. And when we arrange our get-togethers, we pull out our phones, and we look through our Outlook calendars and to see if we're free. Sister Ginny, not so much. She prides herself on beating us by flipping open her paper calendar and announcing to us first the date that works for her. Who needs all this technology? So on Christmas a few years back, our BFF group was extending greetings to each other through text, sharing how blessed we felt to have each other in our lives and how grateful we are for our friendship. After most of the day went by, Sister Ginny responded with one long word sent from her flip phone. This is the word, I can't text back, where is the space bar? We've all had many laughs when we come to that text. And Sister Ginny, like tonight, laughs with the rest of us because she is real. She doesn't take herself too seriously, and in doing so, she supports the rest of us to do the same. V stands for virtuous. The definition of virtue is a habitual and firm disposition to do good. I have learned virtue from the servants of Mary. The sisters not only perform good acts, but give the best of themselves when doing so. They tend to doing good with all of their abilities. Right now, in the election season, we hear one degrading comment after another about those in leadership. The Servites show a different kind of leadership, a habit of choosing what is good and right and living it out humbly, without fanfare. I can only imagine our world if we all aspired to be virtuous, to do good in all that we do the way that they do. A stands for act. Act. Get out there, leave your comfort zone, do your part. Do what you do. When I think about this, I think about Corinthians 12 that states there are different kinds of spiritual gifts, but the same Spirit. There are different forms of service, but the same Lord. There are different workings, but the same God who produces all of them in everyone. To each individual, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for some benefit. The Servites live lives of action. If you can knit, knit. If you can teach, teach. If you can counsel, counsel. If you are a leader, lead. If you can sing, sing. If you can minister and heal, heal. We've all been touched by these acts of the servants of Mary. One act of love in particular touched me. When touring the Mother House some time ago, as we looked over the Marian campus, I was reminded of Sister Therese when she shared that she had witnessed from her bedroom window a Marian girl being taken away in the ambulance from Marian. Sister Therese shared that she prayed for that girl as she had been praying for her sins. If you can pray, pray. That girl was my daughter. And I can attest that Sister Therese's prayers have been heard. N stands for nice. Now some of you guys may be like, nice? Unfortunately, being nice has gotten a bad rap in our current culture. It's been twisted to infer weakness. The servants are nice in a powerful way. I call it powerful niceness. It's intentional. It's the kind that if God could break through to us and say, this is how I want you to treat each other, it's how we would all be. It's how we would be with one another if we really saw that Christ in each other. That's what each of us experience when we're in their presence. T stands for trust. Trust, not a blind trust, but trust in a loving God. A God that is good, that we are beloved, that we have a purpose, that we matter. As I shared earlier, our daughter Lizzie has had many health challenges resulting from a head injury playing soccer, and in her time at Marian, Lizzie was hospitalized 26 times. She had countless emergency department visits and numerous doctors, and during that time, as Sister Mary said, I was on the Marian board. During one of the particularly difficult times, when Lizzie was quite unstable, we didn't have answers yet regarding what was wrong with her. I was in a meeting with Sister Ginny, and she asked if she could walk me to my car. It was a frigid, cold day. So we got in my car to get out of the cold. And as we sat there, Ginny said she'd been praying for Lizzie and for me. And I'll never forget what she shared with me. She said, "Ann, I don't know why Lizzie and your family are having to suffer like you are. But I do know this. I know that God isn't doing this to you. I know that He loves you, and I know that He cherishes Lizzie. I know He's with you, and He's loving you, and He's hurting with you. And I just wanted you to know that. Trust. Trust that we are God's beloved sons and daughters. I've learned that from being in the presence of the servants of Mary. So my lesson, be a servant. Say yes, embrace the moment, be real, live a virtuous life, do what you can do, see the Christ in others, be nice, trust God. My lessons from these servants have shaped me and blessed our entire family. And for that and for this partnership award, I am truly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. That concludes the formal portion of our evening. I don't want you to feel like, since the talks are over, that everybody has to get up and mass exodus out of here. We have the room for a while, so please stay around, share some stories, just mingle, have a good time. Thank you all again for coming and supporting us. We truly appreciate what you do for us, and we will continue moving forward with the things that we do in the hopes of making the world a better place. So thank you very much. Have a great evening. Sorry, one more. We'll be closing. We'll give you, it's about 7 minutes till the hour, so we'll go right until 8 o'clock on the auction items. So again, go on over there, add some zeros to the left side of the decimal, and then continue to have a great time. Thank you.